Morning guys and welcome back to I Like Watches. Is it just me or have you also noticed a small rise in the number of grand complication homage watches appearing on AliExpress? I think it's the watch of the month, isn't it? To the point where, well, San Martin have released a couple onto the market recently. They're very similar, but there are some subtle differences which I'll run through in this video, along with all the facts, figures, stats and specifications, the good, the bad. I'll show you some lovely macro shots. I'm enjoying taking the macro shots at the moment. They're a little bit different to the ones I would normally take. And of course, I'll be putting some links to these watches in my video description. Let's not forget, the next big AliExpress sale is right around the corner. And can you believe it, guys? It goes on, are you ready for this? For 12 days, 12 days. And then after that, there's going to be some sort of Black Friday sale as well. So November is definitely the month to be picking up all your, well, AliExpress watches if that's what you're interested in. And of course, I'd love for you to use my links. The commission that AliExpress pays doesn't come out of your pocket. It comes out of their pocket, and it's, yeah, really appreciated, guys. So if you get there using one of my links, it doesn't cost you any more. You guys will get the discounts in the sale. This channel gets the commission, and I'll be eternally grateful. So thank you so much, guys. And please don't forget to click that like button and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Right, let's get on and take a look at these two new, well, homage watches. Right, I'm going to kick things off by looking at both of these watches on AliExpress. Here they are on the San Martin official store. It is the official store that has sent me these watches to review for you guys. They were free, hence you will have seen the includes paid promotion icon at the start of the video. They are both $194-ish out of the sale. Fingers crossed they'll be discounted in the sale. They are chronograph watches. You've got a couple of subdials on both watches. Same movement inside, the VK64 mecha-quartz movement. So you've got a 24-hour subdial and a minutes for the chronograph function. The seconds for the chronograph is on the main dial. That's what the pushes are for on the side of the watch. It looks like the colour options are the same for both watches as well, although they are in slightly different orders on the listings. And if you flick between the two, it looks like the main difference, and maybe even the only difference, is that the version 2, which is this one, has a couple of Roman numerals at the 12 and the 6, and then just your standard rectangular battens everywhere else. And this one has some Roman numerals. Look, this colour is sensational, this one. Oh, love it. So yeah, that is both watches, well, sort of side by side. And here they both are then actually side by side, and I can confirm the only differences are the applied indices on the dials. The watch on the right is the original one. This is the SN0101GJS-1, and the watch on the left is the latest version, the SN0101GJS-2. I do think I prefer the one on the right. I prefer the colour, but I do also think I prefer the Roman numerals. Yeah, it sort of fills up the dial a little bit more. It's amazing actually how much clearer the watch on the right is. The green dial version is quite dark, isn't it? They're both sunburst effect dials, but yeah, this watch on the right is stunning. And you've got that contrasting stitching on the leather strap as well, which I like. I think this colour is the only one that comes with contrasting stitching on the leather straps. The other three options have colour matching stitching on the straps. Yeah, and I do prefer that contrasting white stitching. Right, I'm going to use this watch because I prefer it and I think it's more clear for the purpose of running through all the facts, figures, stats and specifications. So yeah, let's crack on. Let's start with some dimensions. The diameters are 38mm roughly. Thickness is just under 12, case length 46.3 and 20mm lugs. On the supplied strap they weigh 61 grams. The crystals are sapphire crystals, double domed box crystals with blue AR coating. It's fairly strong, isn't it? You can see it quite clearly even though the dial is blue. Yeah, good clarity through to the dial at a tight angle, which is how you can tell it is double domed. So yeah, very nice crystals. If it's not leather or sapphire crystal, then it's probably stainless steel. Case, crown, pushers, case back, and the hardware on the strap, which is signed. Look, very nice. You've got a screw down case back and a pull push crown, which is signed there. Look, two positions on the crown. The first one is a ghost position because there is a date complication with this VK64 mecha-quartz movement. second position adjusts the time on the dial, and the water resistance is 50 meters. We've become accustomed to fairly impressive steel finishing by San Martin, and this watch doesn't disappoint. Lots of polished surfaces, in particular on top of the case. Look, bezel and top of the case fully polished. Very nice polishing as well, and the brushing down the sides of the case, a beautiful satin brushing. The finishing on the pushers and the crowns is quite interesting. From the side it looks like they're going to be onion pushers, but then top down look, they look quite simple, almost sort of rectangular standard pushers, although the finishing on the crown is yeah, a little bit different, isn't it? Looks good. Down the other side, look, lots of beautiful satin brushing, drilled lugs, nice downturn to the case, a very nice side profile, and the finishing on the case back is, wow, look at that. Cool rainbow effect. I don't know what they've done to make that rainbow effect so strong, but yeah, the case back is very nice. But let me take the case back off so we can have a good look at this movement. And there it is for anybody interested. It says Japan on the top right hand corner there, and VK64A nodules towards the bottom. And look what I've just noticed. That's going above and beyond, isn't it? Yeah, very cool. Right, while we're zoomed in, let's have a closer look at this dial. It's got a fairly strong sunburst effect. It seems to be more obvious than the sunburst effect on the green dial version. I'm not entirely sure if it is actually stronger or if it's just the colour. But I do prefer this colour just generally. I think it's beautiful. You've got some tightly packed concentric circles on the sub-dials there, giving them a slightly different finish. That AR coating is particularly strong, isn't it? Fully polished hands and fully polished applied numerals as well. Some nice print on the dial. The San Martin is printed under the 12. You've got your tachymeter around the outside of the dial. It's a very nice looking watch, isn't it? And I think it's only right to show you a close-up of the green dial version. Yeah, the sunburst effect is definitely not as obvious, certainly not in my light box. And I have just noticed that the print on the dials is different. The print on this dial is white, and on the other watch it is black. But those are the only differences as far as I can see. No loom on these watches, so I'm going to go straight into a wrist roll where I can talk to you about the strap. It's a very nice, fairly soft and supple leather strap. There is some taper to it. Look, fully polished buckle with a very nice engraving on it there, San Martin. Yeah, a couple of retainers. It is a very nice strap, and genuine leather strap, and like I've mentioned already, this one has contrasting stitching, which I think is a nice little extra detail. Yeah, here's the blue one then on my wrist, and here's the version 2 green dial. Can you see what I mean about the strap? I think it's missing the contrasting stitching, isn't it? The strap just looks a little bit plain with the colour matching stitching. Imagine that with a bit of white contrasting stitching. I think that would look pretty good. But yeah, very comfortable watches, not too heavy. You know, weight is well distributed because there's not a lot of weight in the cases. So yeah, no complaints when it comes to the comfort and wearability. Right, I've spent some time recently wearing this blue dial version, and I've compiled a list of what I consider to be the watch's strengths and weaknesses. So let me quickly run through that now. Build quality, in particular the steel finishing, very, very good. Do I really need to say it? The polished surfaces and the brushing is excellent. I don't think there's any other manufacturer on AliExpress that can come close to the quality of finishing that San Martin seems to achieve. So that is excellent. The movement, Seiko mecha-quartz, we love them. Battery-powered quartz time-telling element, but also a mechanical chronograph function. So if you appreciate your automatic watches, I think you're going to have an appreciation for Seiko mecha-quartz movements, aren't you? I think it looks good. They're offering very nice colours. The dials are beautiful. Yeah, and just the overall proportions and fit and finish of this watch means it looks really, really good. So if you're into this style of watch, it's definitely one to consider. It's very comfortable, not too heavy. Very nice, soft, supple supplied strap. The crystal. San Martin have made a few watches recently, more affordable watches that have been supplied with mineral crystals. This is one. In the unboxing recently, I actually said this has sapphire. My apologies. It is mineral crystal. Now this watch is, I guess, amongst their more affordable watches, and it's still being supplied with a beautiful piece of double-domed box crystal with a blue AR coating, which I'll come on to in a minute. But yeah, so you are getting a proper piece of sapphire crystal with this watch, which is excellent. And the strap, we do need to remember that some sellers on AliExpress send out their watches on leather straps that I think we would consider to be disposable or throwaway straps. We don't like them, they're cheap feeling, but San Martin don't seem to do that. They generally send out their watches on leather straps that you would be happy to wear the watches on. Beautifully finished buckle. Yeah, it is a quality strap, so that needs to be considered if you are going to compare this watch to other similar watches being sold on AliExpress. But it's not perfect, no watch is. There's a couple of weaknesses. The movement, there's no sub-dial with a running seconds hand. Seiko do make mecha-quartz movements with a running seconds hand sub-dial, but this particular VK64 isn't one of those. You can start the chronograph function, of course, if you want to see something moving on the watch, but that's not really the point of that, is it? So yeah, and also a ghost position on the crown, because this movement has a date complication and there's no date complication on the dial. And the last thing, it's fairly minor, the blue AR coating. It's a beautiful colour, this one in particular, and every now and then I was seeing a blue streak of AR coating sort of whip across the dial. And yeah, I think maybe a clear AR coating would have been better. But I think that's about it. Now, I'd love for you to tell me why we've seen such an increase recently in this style of watch, in particular on AliExpress. What's happened? Yeah, I'd love to know. I'm not aware of any particular reason, but there has been quite a lot of watches that look a lot like this appearing on AliExpress recently. I haven't seen too many. Obviously I've seen these two and they're quite impressive, and I must admit they're not really my style of watch. They're not the sort of watches I would go out of my way to look at and potentially buy, but with most San Martin watches I do have an appreciation for what they're offering, and if this style of watch is something you're interested in, then yeah, I think they do represent decent value for money. But let me know, guys, what you think of the watch and the review, and also why you think we're seeing so many watches like this appearing on AliExpress recently. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it there. As always, massive thank you from me to you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Take care guys, look after yourselves. You'll see me again very soon. No, you will see me again. I don't know why I hesitated then.